At least once in our lives, we've come across an incident where a group of people showed dislike towards one individual. This can range from that person being unhygienic to having a bad sense of humor. The tendency of a community to consolidate their hate towards a particular individual or a group of individuals is a common occurrence. In today's world, we tend to manipulate our way through life. We have multiple personalities designed for various situations. People who grow up in abusive environments tend to be more dissociative than the ones who haven't. They lack empathy and their abilities are quite robotic in nature. When a person has been subjected to hate all their life, what are the chances of that person not projecting the same kind of hate to the outside world? Se7en is a story about two detectives who are at different junctures of their lives. David Mills is an idealistic married man who wants the utopian fantasy to become a reality for him and his family. William Somerset is a soon-to-retire detective whose only motivation is to get by with a steady pension. After confiding in him, David's wife tells William that she is pregnant but is scared to raise a child in such a violent environment. This statement puts things into perspective. From the 70s, serial killing in the US was on a rise till the early 2000s. The world created by Andrew Kevin Walker is very morbid and extremely gory. When a person is showered with hatred all throughout their life, they end up resenting the world. They start pointing out flaws in the system in multiple ways. This can range from social media judgments to bullying in schools. When social equity is based on the amount of likes you get on a picture that you post, it becomes difficult to maintain that status for a longer time. Once you look at the tendencies of the most infamous serial killers, you'll come across one commonality: outcasts. We are programmed to like and dislike others. Think about it. There's always this one person in your life that you hate. In my opinion, we as a society are responsible for creating serial killers. Because of our projection of dislike or hatred towards an individual, we trigger them to do certain things. The film talks about the tendency of a serial killer to eliminate random people in a biblical context. The serial killer in the film, aptly named John Doe, is an amalgamation of the hatred we show. He is the society. There's no background to him, no motivation other than the God complex he has. Today, opinions are marketed as facts. We want to cater to a larger audience and have them agree with us. John Doe acts as a representative of God who is here with a higher purpose. This higher purpose is to take the world out of its apathy and create a utopia. The utopia that John Doe talks about is based on the examples he creates through the killings. A morbidly obese man who represents gluttony, a criminal lawyer who represents greed, a drug dealer and child molester representing sloth, a prostitute representing lust, a model whose face has been mutilated represents pride, Doe himself represents envy, and finally, David Mills represents wrath. These 7 deadly sins will change the world according to Doe. The sins of the world need to be cleansed, and he is the self-ordained cleanser. David is just another guy who aspires to be someone who has an impact on the world in one way or the other. He wants to help others, and this nature of his brings about a lot of naivety to the story. William, on the other hand, has a pessimistic view on the world. He reads Ernest Hemingway during his time off duty. John Doe decides his fate and completes his mission with due diligence. Because he is the representation of society, he portrays the harsh reality of the world. He'll always have the upper hand. He'll always be the winner. The abused become abusers, and the tortured become torturers. This has been the trend since the beginning of time. Social equity is something that all of us aspire to have. This creates a psychological loop. We, as a society, want to consolidate our hate towards a certain section of people. The cancer culture is one of the most recent examples of how social media judgment can ruin someone's life in an instant. This psychological loop is when a person with a history of childhood trauma or abuse becomes somewhat of an outcast in society. This individual has been in desperate need of social gratification. They project this pent up rage towards society, which leads to apathetic tendencies projected on a larger scale and thereby creating another abused individual. This psychological loop is something that is deeply rooted in all of us. This makes me wonder, are we really the responsible citizens of the world we claim to be?